Okay, back in Enoch, or 3 Enoch. I'm not sure how much I'll read because I just don't feel like it. But I thought I would. I'm just going in to get a soda in a minute. Alright, chapter 19. Rikbael, the prince of the wheels of the Merkaba, the sacred salutation of sacred salutation of holy, holy, holy. And the Merkaba again is the chariot. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the angel, the prince of the presence, said to me, above these 3 angels, who are these 3 great princes, there is one prince, distinguished, revered, noble, glorified, adorned, fearful, fearless, mighty, great, uplifted, glorious, crowned, wonderful, exalted, blameless, loved. Like a ruler, he is high and lofty, ancient and mighty. There is none among the princes like him. His name is Rikbael Yahweh. Yod-He-Vod-He, the great and revered prince who is standing by Merkaba, the chariot. And why is he Rikbael? Because he is assigned to rule over the wheels of the Merkaba, and they are given to his authority. And how many are the wheels? 8, 2 in each direction, and there are 4 winds compassing them round about. And these are their names: the winds of the storm, the winds of the storm, the tempest, the strong wind, and the wind of the earthquake. And under them 4 rivers of fire are constantly running, and there is 1 river of fire on each side. And around them, between the rivers, 4 clouds are affixed. They are clouds of fire, clouds of torches, clouds of coal, clouds of brimstone, and they are standing by their wheels. Sorry, I'm going to shut my car off. It was on because it's cold, but I'm going to turn it off. Okay. In the feet of the Hayot... Oh, wait, sorry. I'll read the little note in here. Let me see. There is much number symbolism here. Some Eastern cultures believe that there are only 8 possible directions of movement. They could be looked at as north, south, east, west, up, down, in, out. Anything else must be a combination of these. 4 is the number of limits and testing. 2 is the number of assistance, witness, or duplicity. And the feet of the Hayot are resting on the wheels, and between 2 wheels an earthquake is roaring and thundering, and thunder is sounding. And when the time draws near for the recital of the song, numerous wheels are moved. The numerous clouds tremble, all the chieftains become afraid, and all the horsemen become angry, and all the mighty ones are excited. All the hosts are frightened, and all the troops are fearful. All the appointed ones hurry away. All the princes and armies are confused. All the servants faint, and all the angels in divisions suffer with pain. And one wheel makes a sound to be heard by the other one, and one wheel makes a sound to be heard by the other, and one cherub speaks to another, one Chaya, Chaya, to another, one seraph to another, extol to him that rides in Erebolt, the highest heaven, by his name Yah, and rejoice before him. The name Yah is a shortened and speakable version of Yahweh or Jehovah. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the angel, the prince of the presence, said to me, above these there is one great and mighty prince. His name is Halal Yahweh. I don't know how you say that. A noble and honorable prince. A prince before whom all the children of heaven tremble. A prince who is able to swallow up the entire earth in one moment at a single mouthful. And why is he called Halal, I guess is how you say it. Halal Yahweh. Why is he called Halal Yahweh? Because he is assigned to rule over the holy Hayot, and he strikes the Hayot with lashes of fire and glorifies them when they give praise and glory and rejoicing, and he causes them to hurry and say, holy, blessed the glory of Yahweh from this place. And then it says the Kedusha, sacred salutation of holy, holy, holy. Chapter 21, the Hayot. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the angel, the prince of the presence, said to me, the 4 Hayot correspond to the 4 winds. Each Hayah is as big as the space of the entire world. Sorry if I'm saying that word wrong. I don't know how to say it. And each Heya is as big as the space of the entire world, and each one has 4 faces, and each face is like the face of the east, the sunrise. Each one has 4 wings, and each wing is like the tent, or the ceiling of the universe. And each one has faces in the middle of faces and wings in the middle of wings. The size of the faces is 248 faces, and the size of the wings is 365 wings. And every one is crowned with 2,000 crowns on his head, and each crown is like the rainbow in the cloud, and its splendor is like the magnificence of the circle of the sun, and the sparks that go out from every one are like the glory of the morning star in the east. And it says the morning star is the planet Venus. Chapter 22. Cherubbaal, the prince of the cherubim, or cherubim, description of the cherubim. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the angel, the prince of the present, said to me, above these there is one prince, noble, wonderful, strong, and praised with all kinds of praise. His name is Cherubbaal Yahweh, a mighty prince full of power and strength, a prince of highness and highness with him, a righteous prince in righteousness with him, a holy prince in holiness with him, a prince of glorified in 1,000 hosts, exalted by 10,000 armies. At his anger the earth trembles, at his anger the camps of the armies are moved. From fear of him the foundations are shaken. At his chastisement the Erabot, or the highest heaven, trembles. His stature is full of burning coals. The height is that of the 7 heavens, and his breadth is the stature of his stature is like the sea. The opening of his mouth is like a lamp of fire. His tongue is a consuming fire. His eyebrows are like the splendor of the lightning. His eyes are like the sparks of bright light. His face is like a burning fire, and there is a crown of holiness upon his head, on which the explicit name is given, and lightning proceeds from it. And the bow of the Shekinah is between his shoulders, or Shekinah. The bow of the Shekinah is between his shoulders. I don't know if that's a rainbow. I don't know. And his sword is like lightning, and on his thighs there are arrows like flames, and upon his armor the shield there is a consuming fire, and on his neck there are coals of burning juniper wood, and also around him there are coals of burning juniper. The bow can represent a rainbow. There you go. But it is certainly a weapon of great power. Juniper is a symbol of strength and longevity. It was said to shelter the prophet Elijah from Queen Jezebel's pursuit. Tales in the apocryphal books tell of how the infant Jesus and his parents were hidden from King Herod's soldiers by a juniper during their flight into Egypt. That's pretty cool. And the splendor of Shekinah is on his face, and the horns of the majesty on his wheels, and the royal diadem upon his head, and his body is full of eyes, and wings are covering the entire of his stature. And this says the height of his stature is all wings. I don't know. On his right hand a flame of burning, and on his left a fire is glowing, and coals are burning from it. And burning staves go forth from his body, and lightning is projected from his face. With him there is always thunder within thunder, and by his side there is a never-ending earthquake within an earthquake. Okay, I'm going to read that. That was pretty cool. With him there is always thunder within thunder, and by his side there is never-ending earthquake within an earthquake. And the 2 princes of the Merkabah, the chariot, are together with him. Why is he called Cherubbaal Yahweh, the prince? Because he is assigned to rule over the chariot of the cherubim, and the mighty cherubim are subject to his authority. And he adorns the crowns on their heads, and polishes the diadem on their heads. He increases the glory of their appearance, and he glorifies the beauty of their majesty, and he expands the greatness of their honor. He makes their songs of praise to be sung. He makes the strength of their beauty increase. He causes the brightness of their glory to shine forth. He makes their goodness, mercy, and loving kindnesses to grow. He separates their radiance so that it show even more. He makes the beauty of their mercy even more beautiful. He glorifies their upright majesty. He sings the order of their praise to establish the dwelling place of him who dwells on the cherubim. And the cherubim are standing by the holy Hayot, and their wings are raised up to their heads. And then it says, as the height of their heads. I don't know. I'm going to read that again because that parentheses is kind of weird. And the cherubim are standing by the holy Hayot, and their wings are raised up to their heads, and Shekinah is resting upon them, and the bright glory is upon their faces, and songs of praise are in their mouth, and their hands are under their wings, and their feet are covered by their wings, and horns of glory are upon their heads, and the splendor of Shekinah on their face, and Shekinah is resting on them, and sapphire stones surround them, and columns of fire are on their four sides, and columns of burning staves are beside them. Good Lord, someone should have put some commas in there. That was extremely hard for me to read. Golly, okay. I'm glad that sentence over. Wow, that was so long. There is one sapphire on one and another sapphire on the other side, and under the sapphires there are coals of burning juniper wood. And a cherub is standing in each direction, but the wings of the cherubim surround each other above their heads in glory. And they spread them to sing. Sorry, I didn't know what that flash was. And they spread them. And a cherub is standing in each direction, but the wings of the cherubim surround each other above their heads in glory, and they spread them to sing with them a song to him that inhabits the clouds, and to praise the fearful majesty of the King of Kings with their wings. The sound of, all right, so this is a note. The sound coming from their wings is heard as a song. This harkens back to a description of Lucifer before the fall. It was said that his body had instruments made within it, which made beautiful music. Yeah, I've heard that said before, but I thought that was a bad translation, because he's talking about the passage in Ezekiel. I don't know though. What do I know? And Herubael Yahweh is the prince who is assigned to rule over them. He arrays them in proper, beautiful, and pleasant orders, and he exalts them in all manner of exaltation, dignity, and glory. And he hurries them in glory and might to do the will of their Creator every moment. Above their high heads continually dwells the glory of the high king, who dwells on the cherubim, or the cherubim. Names in this section are related to the station of the angels. Haliel is the prince of the Hayot. Herubael, or Kerubael, is the prince of the cherubim, or cherubim, and so on. All right, this is weird to get. All right, I'll probably read through the rest of chapter 22. It's breaking it up into like sections now. Chapter 22b. Rabbi Ishmael said to me, Metatron, the angel, the prince of the present, said to me, how are the angels standing on high? He said, a bridge is placed from the beginning of the doorway to the end, like a bridge that is placed over a river for everyone to pass over it. And 3 ministering angels surround it and sing a song before Yahweh, the God of Israel. And standing before it are the lords of dread and captains of fear, numbering 1,000 times 1,000 and 10,000 times 10,000. And they sing praises and hymns before Yahweh, the God of Israel. Many bridges are there. There are bridges of fire and many bridges of hail. Also many rivers of hail, numerous storehouses of snow, and many wheels of fire. And how many are the ministering angels are there? 12,000 times 10,000, 6,000 times 10,000 above, and 6,000 times 10,000 below. And 12,000 are the storehouses of snow, 6 above and 6 below, and 24 times 10,000 wheels of fire, 12 times 10,000 above, and 12 times 10,000 below. And they surround the bridges and the rivers of fire and the rivers of hail. And there are numerous ministering angels forming entries for all the creatures that are standing in the midst thereof, over against the paths of Rakia, the heaven, Shamayim. What does Yahweh, the God of Israel, the King of glory, do? The great and fearful God, mighty in strength, covers his face. in Erebot, the highest heaven, are 660,000 times 10,000 angels of glory standing over against the throne of glory and the divisions of flaming fire. And the King of glory covers his face. For else the Erebot, the highest heaven of Rakia, of the heaven, would be torn apart from its center because of majesty, splendor, beauty, radiance, loveliness, brilliancy, brightness, and excellency of the appearance of the Holy One. Blessed be he. There are innumerable ministering angels carrying out his will, many kings and princes in the Erebot, the highest heaven of his delight. They are angels who are revered among the rulers in heaven, distinguished, adorned with song, and they bring love to the minds of those who are frightened by the splendor of the Shekinah, and their eyes are dazzled by the shining beauty of their king. Their faces grow black, and their strength fails. There are rivers of joy, streams of gladness, rivers of happiness, streams of victory, rivers of life, streams of friendship, and they flow over and go out from in front the throne of glory, and grow large and wend their way through the gates on the paths to Erebot, the highest heaven of Rakia, at the voice of shouting and music of the Hayot, at the voice of the rejoicing of the cymbals of the Aphanim, and at the melody of the cymbals of his cherubim. And they grow great and go out with noise and with sound of the hymn, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. Chapter 22c. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the prince of the present, said to me, what is the distance between one bridge and another? Tens of thousands of parasangs. They rise up tens of thousands of parasangs, and then go down tens of thousands of parasangs. The distance between the rivers of dread and the rivers of fear is 22 times 10,000 parasangs. Between the rivers of hail and the rivers of darkness, 36 times 10,000 parasangs. Between the chambers of lightnings and between the chambers of lightnings and the clouds of compassion, 42 times 10,000 parasangs. Between the clouds of compassion and the Merkabah, the chariot, 84 times 10,000 parasangs. Between the Merkabah, the chariot, and the cherubim are 148 times 10,000 parasangs. Between the cherubim and the Aphanim are 24 times 10,000 parasangs. Between the chambers of chambers and the holy Hayot, 40,000 times 10,000 parasangs. Between one wing of the Hayot and another 12 times 10,000 parasangs. And the breadth of each one wing is of the same measure, and the distance between the holy Hayot and the throne of glory is 30,000 times 10,000 parasangs. And from the foot of the throne to the seat there are 40,000 times 10,000 parasangs. And the name of him that sits on it, let the name be sanctified. And the arches of the bow are set above the Erebot, the highest heaven, and they are 1,010,000 times 10,000 parasangs high. Their measure is after the measure of the Areen and Kadashin. Then it says the watchers and the holy ones. So between the watchers, their measure is after the measure of the watchers and the holy ones. As it is written in Genesis 9:13, my bow I have set in my cloud. It is not written here, I will set, but I have set. That is to say, I have already set it in the clouds that surround the throne of glory. As his clouds pass by, the angels of hail turn into burning coal, and a voice of fire goes down from the holy Hayot. And because of the breath of the voice they run to another place, fearing that it could command them to go, and they return for fear that it may injure them from the other side. Therefore they run and return. I'm just going to read that again, and a voice of fire goes down from the holy Hayot, and because of the breath of that voice they run to another place, fearing that it could command them to go, and they return for fear that it may injure them from the other side. Therefore they run and return. And these arches of the bow are more beautiful and radiant than the radiance of the sun during the summer solstice. And they are brighter and whiter than a flaming fire, and they are large and beautiful. Above the arches of the bow are the wheels of the Aphanim. Their height is 1,010,000 times 10,000 units of measure, after the measure of the seraphim and the troops. And then it says that troops is Gerudim. All right, here's a note. The Areen and the Kadishin are the highest ranked of all the angels. They constitute the supreme council of heaven. These angels are the twin sentinels. The Areen decrees, while the Kadishin sentences every case in the court of heaven. In Daniel 4:14, we find references, by decree of the sentinels, this is decided. By order of the holy ones, this sentence, that all who live may know that the Most High rules over the kingdom of men. He can give it to whom he will, or set over it the lowliest of men. For the words rendered of the holy God, we read Haldi. The language in which Daniel was composed, we read in Haldi. The language with which Daniel was composed. The words Alain Kadisin, which means holy gods, not holy God. Okay, so that's a commentary on that. Anyways, I think that's all I do right now. I'll stop at chapter 23, so...